happy Father's Day. I am so glad today to be joined by the COO and co-founder of Sugar Cosmetics, Kaushik Mukherjee. So I'm just going to give everybody a few minutes to join and then we can get started. Hi. Hey. Hello. Yes. Aslan, no, I'm actually here to go live with my guests, so I'm not going to be bringing anybody else on. Hi. Hi, Aruna. Hi. Aishwarya. Hi. Yes. How are you and happy Father's Day? How? Oh my God, I'm gonna block this person. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm good. Arava, okay. Here, I'm not going to bring anybody else but our guest for today on. So, if y'all can just wait. No, Arava, I'm not going to bring you on. Hope you do. I'm doing well, Ila. How are you? What's going on for Father's Day? Or Sunday? Yay! Okay. Giving it just a minute. While we're waiting, how many of you have used Sugar Cosmetics that are on this live? Pretty. Oh, thank you. Ah. What is the topic today? The topic is fatherhood. Looking beautiful, thank you. It's a Father's Day live where we're going to be talking about building a business and much more. Hi, Aarti. Hi, Abhinaya. Hi.
Sangeeta, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kaushik? Welcome.
I'm well. I was watching some of the comments roll in while you were saying, and I'm like, okay, so this is how folks start heckling the host before before the session.
I had
Anyway,
Woohoo! Yes. Kaushik, thank you so much for joining us on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
thank you very, very much, Sangeeta. It's a little weird. I've always grown up wishing my dad, right? So now when I have two others coming up with a little handmade card saying Happy Father's Day, my first instinct is to look around like, what do you mean? But yeah, thank you very, very much.
How are the little ones? Did you get pampered today? Did you get cards, gifts? How was it?
Yes, the little ones are doing what they do best, be extremely rowdy at home. I, it's, but yeah, I mean, I can raise my hand and say, hey, one day, and it's a Sunday. Please be nice. Don't fight with each other. But no, no, no. It's all good.
All right. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the sugar story. And as sugar was
Yes, we
happening,
are.
the two,
Hmm.
two little kids came along, and then the Iron
Yes, they
Man and
did.
Iron Woman came along. So yes, I really look up to
That also
Kaushik,
did.
don't we all? So
Is
tell us how all of this happened along with fatherhood and building a business and hustling and doing the Iron Man, Iron Woman. Maybe we'll start with the sugar story. Tell us
you know.
how sugar. Tell us about the journey. And I mean, a lot of your posts are super well timed for me. You'll post something about the
Are you
story,
serious?
and the email that you'd shared about how people told you this is not the right time. All those rejection emails that you share, super duper inspiring, and that's just what I wanted to hear at that point. That story about how you broke your last fixed deposit, really, that day I went to my
That
husband
is
and said,
amazing.
okay, so we have to be doing something right. See, look, Kaushik shared this, and look where they are. So I'm going to keep going.
You
So,
know, Sangeeta, I'm gonna start sharing this with my with a disclaimer saying that such emails are subject to market and emotional risks. Please
of
read all
course.
emails carefully and take your own. No, no, it's we got lucky eventually, but yeah, it was tough. I know you asked the sugar story, but the fact is, sugar story is what our story meandered towards, right? I mean, there would be no sugar story if you'd not spent those first years, trying to scale Fabbag, build what we thought would be what we'd be building primarily even today. But yeah, 2015 was a bit of a watershed year for us. A lot of things happened. Our first child, Ranveer, was born. Um, Business was tough, but then our second child, Sugar, was born then, and that I think that changed the trajectory of a lot of things we were planning to build, and and yeah, that's how it happened. But there is no. I don't want to start by saying okay, we started this and it started scaling, we did well. No, for the first 3 years we were trying to scale many things, and it was. You mentioned the fixed deposit, and
Yes.
it's true, right? I mean, there was this day when so we all have our what do you call it? Egg nest egg. I mean, the rainy day. You save it and say, okay, you know what? Last case,
Yeah.
last backup. I'm going to touch this. Otherwise, I'm not going to touch this. And we had a fixed deposit of 30 lakhs kept over there. And we reached the point wherein we were discussing that, okay, is it time to break that? And because there are, I mean, you know this. So you run your own show. There are salaries to be paid. There are rent deposits to be paid. We should have probably done that, but at that time, I think at some levels we were also very scared because this was not the first time we were trying to build something. We had tried building. Vinita and I had individually tried building something earlier, which
Yes.
had not scaled. I ran it for 2 years, shut it down before taking up a job again. Vinita ran hers for 5 years.
Yeah.
This seemed like we were almost on borrowed time, and there was this unstated fear that if this did not work, we didn't know if we'd ever get a chance in the future to build again. So we just said, okay, it's like you're throwing darts. You run out of
Yeah.
darts and you're asked to leave the field and you see some random dart lying there. You're like, okay, wait, I'm going to throw this also. And, and it's not in your dart to throw it because that money was supposed to be for just for rent and for salaries. But we just carved out some part of it and said, no, no, let's just borrow, put 10 lakhs from there into a new product. I mean, we didn't even have the courage to call it a brand then. A lot of people, follow how sugar is evolving as a brand.
Yes.
I've become a lot more comfortable talking about how I feel sugar is growing as a brand. But brand, we started calling it brand much later. We started off with just a product, and
Yeah.
that was taken from the 30 lakh deposit that was there, a small part of it, which was then recovered. But I'm so glad we did that. I'm so glad. But yeah, that's how
So,
I think the story
so
started.
am I right in thinking both you and Vanita are first generation entrepreneurs? It's not. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll caveat it a bit. So Vinita's
Yeah.
parents are, of course, academics, both of them.
Right.
Dad's been a professor at Ames.
Yes.
Mom's been with ICMR. My mom's been a school teacher. She still
Yeah.
teaches.
Yeah.
So dad did leave his job to run his own start. I mean, that time there was no startup word
Right.
also, right? Run his own
Right.
show with a couple of others. It
Yeah.
never really got, off the blocks. And I remember a lot of my childhood was growing up thinking that, okay, you know what? You want to plunge headfirst into financial despondency or what's the word? Financial difficulty,
Chaos.
startup. So thankfully, you know, as I matured and grew a little older, separated the two.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that did try. I mean, that did try, of course. It didn't really, can't say it scaled, but I have seen my dad, try to build a business.
Right, right. Yeah. But it's not really like you had a big whatever to fall back on, like family, 3 generations of building something that you can fall back on, etc. Right? Like, so tell us about this. Like, I know you graduated, you had a job, and when did this entrepreneur like bug bite? I mean, did you always have it, or is it just like the time was right, or you met the
So,
right people, or how? What was it like?
so I think one of the first books which was inspiring to read. Okay, this is how the stuff is built. Was Richard Branson's Losing My Virginity. It was a very interesting book about how he built the Virgin empire and all the goof ups that happened at that time. But I never thought that I'd start up or be an entrepreneur. To be very honest with you.
Right.
Having said that, I remember in my IIM Ahmedabad interview, you have to understand at that time I was a engineer,
Yes.
male engineer, with 2 years of work ex in an IT company. I was as the stereotypical profile as could be. So
Yeah.
I really needed a story point to stand out. And I remember reading up more about entrepreneurship, how companies are built, so much so that I almost convinced myself that, you know what, Hariya, this is cool. And in the interview, of course, they asked me that, why do you want to join business school? What do you want to do? And I said, I want to start up of my own later. And I mean, it's not that I really believe that I would. So I did that. Fortunately, some stars aligned. I got through the university. And in a university, you're in a rat race, right? You're always out to prove that, okay, which is the best opportunity that you can wrangle for yourself, and you get judged by that. And so that was the first year. Second year was interesting because we had a lot of time to participate in case study contests, business school contests. And Vinita was a batch ahead of me. Their batch actually did this whole, now it's more popular, that time it was unheard of, that decline a job offer to a campus placement offer to start
Right.
up. So after
Right.
seeing 4 or 5 of them do that, our batch, a lot of us got very inspired. Now out
Right.
of that batch we got inspired, I think most of them finally they knocked some sense into themselves and said that, okay, I've got inspired, that's fine, but let me just they say, get some experience before I try that. I
Yes.
think that arrow of sense somehow evaded me, and I said, wow, this is very nice. It's
Yeah.
and all those you keep telling. I mean, what we are like 24 then or 26
Yeah.
then. You are like, this is it, and if now or never. And so yeah, we started off, and but it's become much more popular right now. I think
Right.
there is it's a legit career option right now, and I think the best way to do it, best time to do it is when you don't have many other responsibilities beyond that of yourself. If you're like if you want to start up when there are others, and by
Yeah.
others I mean you always have a family, most of us. But when you start your
Right.
own family, then everybody has to be on board. It's not an individual decision, right? I mean, you can't just
Yes.
one day wake up and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to start up." No, it affects everybody around you. I mean, there is no way you can
Yeah.
even emotionally deal with the ups and downs of starting up if your closest circle is not empathetic or supportive. And for that, you can't be entitled and assume them that they will be empathetic. You have to invest in explaining to them why it is important for you to start up and try this right now. So, I'm saying all of this right now because I know it the hard way. I have also taken
Yes.
shortcuts in the past and realized that, okay, you know what? I have to tell my mom why this is important for me. Otherwise, the mom's, not getting this. But yes, I mean, I think that helps.
Yeah. Do you think there is a certain kind of personality that's more suited for entrepreneurship? Like, do you have to be wired a certain kind of way? What is it that makes some people want to kind of jump versus not? Is it like a personality trait? What is it?
So Sugita, I think there is a lot that is talked about publicly, saying that you need to hustle, you need to be really sharp, intelligent, you need to be business savvy, street smart. That is fine. And all of that, there are many people who have that. I think one trait which I believe is important is to cope with failure
Yeah.
and to detach your self worth from such failures. Because if you
Wow.
start beating yourself up every time you fail and put too much pressure on yourself, there's no way you'll cross the first milestone or the first hurdle because, I mean, you will fail and look really stupid many, many times. So either you deal with it, laugh it off, or find your way to cope with it. The people cope
Yeah.
with it in different ways. Some people make a joke out of it. Some people change the narrative to push some other win to offset the loss. But you have to learn to cope with it. Otherwise, it just eats you up. There are so many who start up and eventually take it very personally that, okay, something missing in me. I couldn't make things start up. I mean, if that was the case, then Vinita and I would have beaten ourselves up like 10 times over before starting Sugar. So I think
Right.
that's important.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Srinath is saying hi. Srinath from Dubai.
Hi, Srinath.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Yeah. So this is exactly what I was telling you because I'm like doing this for the first time. I'm like, okay, wait. Oh, wow, there are comments. But happy to take questions.
No, I mean, there's lots of people saying hi. Lots of people saying
Okay.
you're so
Perfect.
inspiration. So I'm just gonna read it. I don't want to kind of stop the flow.
Sure. No. I'm gonna get the hang of it. I'm like
No
in level
worries.
zero right now. I'll level up.
No worry. No, sometimes I turn the comments off, but there's not a lot of distracting comments. So I
Oh,
think.
I saw some of those in the beginning, and I was like, whoa.
So
Why?
I
It's a Sunday. It's a happy day. What is this guy? What trip is this guy on?
Oh, I'm kidding. I'm. This is the first time that's happened. So I think, yeah. Okay, so I think that I think you touched on something. Is not to connect your self worth with the outcome of your startup. I think that's a big part of that, right? Like,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to us about. I mean, obviously, you and Meeta are married, and you're also running this business together. So, what's
Mm-hmm.
that like? And also, like, this idea of let's have a child, I'm guessing, is also in some ways tied to how the business is going and plans and whatever, right?
True.
Like, so just walk us through that. Are we ready? Etc. Journey to parenthood, I guess.
So I think I'd break up our journey into two parts. One was we started the company in 2012, and between 2012 and 2015, the first 3 years, a lot of things didn't grow and scale as much as we thought they would, and that's the reason why we sort of. I mean, I can tell you today that don't connect self-worth to that, but the fact is, everybody starts thinking, okay, I couldn't make it work, or this is not working out. So, and Sangeeta, that's the time when I mean, this is 2015, right? So 7 years since moving out of business school. You know what happens 7 years after you move out of business school? Something very interesting happens. Your
Okay.
batchmate starts buying fancy cars and fancy buildings and fancy houses. And suddenly, the second thing that happens is your parents call you and said, "Hey, I saw Facebook my photos. Your friend has bought this really nice flat," and I'm like waiting. When are they going to say what are you doing with your life? So, I mean, peer pressure is real, right? I mean, you keep. I mean, whatever external signals you see, you do react to or choose not to react to. Doesn't matter. Your circle reacts to it, and you can't control
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
I remember 2015. Not the best times for us, right? I mean, at that time we thought we had really failed, and not just our investors, our families, ourselves, and I keep talking about this. I think I should talk about this more. That people say fight tomorrow, right? I mean, keep trying till you succeed. Trying requires energy to
Yes.
push aside negative vibes, push aside the naysayers, believe that what you want. Now, how do you get that energy? If you are doubting yourself and not feeling great about yourself, you don't get that energy, right? So something
Yes.
really, so 2015, something interesting happened. I mean, that is the time when we had Ranveer, our first child, and I remember. So I have stopped running right now, unfortunately, clearly, and but Vinita has always been the runner amongst the two of us. And after she gave birth, about May was when Ranveer was born. About exactly 1 month later, 17 June again, we said, okay, let's just go for a quick 1 kilometer run. Not quick, just a jog.
Just a job.
So at that time, I remember that there was so much confusion in our lives because when you have the first child,
Yes.
everybody, I don't know if it's true or not, but as new parents, we felt like everybody in the world would look at us and say that, yeah, you guys are really bad parents. Okay, you guys don't know how to handle burping, handle feeding, handle diapers, and suddenly we were like, okay, guys, I mean, okay, I can understand our investors saying that your business is not scaling. Now there are other people, some whom we don't even know, saying that, Arey, inko dekho ya, they are now have a child and they don't know how to manage it. And I was like, okay, so from every side of our lives, we were getting, I don't know if you've seen this movie, Gangs of Wasepur, and there's this dialogue where this guy looks at the other, says, beta tumse na ho paega. It's like, you're not cut out for this. And we just felt that, yeah, we just felt that vibe everywhere, right? And that's when I think one of the runs we were doing, we signed up for a 10K run or something like that, and we took our own sweet time and did 10K. And I posted that shared that on Facebook. I think that time the other platforms are not that popular.
Right.
I was zapped. Okay, suddenly there are friends who have not talked to me for like yeah, they're like commenting like, "Oh man, great!" And it was a normal. I mean, races are the easiest way to get a medal, right? I mean, because you get a participation medal. Nobody remembers that. It's just that you're posing with a medal for participation. But people are like, "Wow, this that." I'm like, "Oh my god." In the last 24 hours, nobody has said one good word to us. That last 24 months, nobody said a good word to us saying that, okay, we are doing something right in our lives. And here people are
Yeah.
saying that, wow, you're doing great. You're running. Wow, great. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is positive energy. This is the positive energy I need in my life. So, I mean, it started off as a joke, but then it was a bit of a distraction from all
Ah.
the challenges that we saw at work, the disappointments we saw at home when we were trying to cope. Uh,
Yeah.
it was a distraction. When we were swimming, everything was quiet. I could just hear the water. When we were cycling, I could just feel the wind. When we were running, I could just hear my steps and very heavy
Yeah.
breathing because I was very heavy that time. So I think that turned out to be a bit of an escape for us. And
Yeah.
as we kept going, our first round of like funding for sugar in 20 happened in 2017, and which was 2 years after when we were born. So all of these 2 years, I mean, what happened was we just kept going because we said, okay, there is something else to our lives than just work. And I tell you this, because sometimes I mean, I know focus pays, but focus is saps you of a lot of energy.
Yes, I
And
agree.
and and
Yes.
and you can continue investing that energy,
Yeah.
provided provided you are excited about putting in that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, see, today I can confidently say that sugar's gotten off to a great start. We are growing. We are going to grow so many times over the next decade. That time I knew nothing. We knew
Yeah.
nothing, right? And when you're grappling with uncertainty, I mean, there's uncertainty in your at personal life, professional life. You needed something which was simpler. That okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Give
Which you
input,
could
get
control.
output.
Like, yeah, this is
Yes, yes,
completely under my
yeah,
control. And if I do
absolutely,
it, I'm going to be assured of results. And then also, it's like
absolutely,
starting up and having a baby. It's like having two babies. And then it's sometimes it's
and
like a thankless job. Like you're doing a good job, but you're not
you
getting that
mentioned it.
feedback until they grow older
True,
and the
true,
business grows older. And
true,
until then, it's like
true,
you're
absolutely.
sowing a seed and watering it and not seeing it sprout. And it's like, I know it might sprout at some point, but
I hope it
yeah,
will. Yes,
I
correct.
need to see it, and this is like, I see it, I did, 2 hours one day and, 1 hour, 45 minutes the next day.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly, exactly. I mean, for business, you're like, okay, I'm putting the effort, but I don't know if this business is going to take off. You want to have a baby, the baby's here right now. I don't know if I'm going to be a good parent.
Yeah.
Here, it was very simple. You sign up for a race, you wake up that day, and you reach the finish line. You run, walk, crawl, reach the start line. You run, walk, crawl, reach the finish line. You will
Yeah.
get a medal. At least you
Yeah.
will have a reminder. It's not about a medal that somebody saying you're great. It's a
Yeah.
physical reminder of the fact that you committed to something, you put
Yeah.
in the effort, and you have something, some reminder, visual reminder to show by. That was missing in our lives that time. Today when we go through really tough times, not just me, our teams look back at the tough times we've had at Sugar, right? And we have visual reminders to remind ourselves that, hey, times are tough, we went through it. We had
Yeah.
nothing that time. We had only a bouquet of failures. So, I think that's why this became a very interesting part of our story where we got a lot of positive vibes and energy from there, which we plowed back into business.
Yeah.
And it took time, but yeah, I think we, we finally the bus started moving.
Yes, absolutely. And now you run, together with Vinita, a female-centric brand, and
Yes, we do.
you're married and co-founding with somebody who's very accomplished, and with
True,
the
true.
background, when we live in this background of toxic masculinity, traditional gender
Yeah,
roles, patriarchy, have you
true.
seen that being mirrored to you, projected to you in any way, like out there? What's it like for you?
So, I'll break this question into two parts. First is how how I feel about this. So I'm extremely acutely aware of the fact that if my partner and co-founder was not there, there probably would be no sugar because it is beyond me to create sugar the way it is shaped up right now. For the basic reason I don't understand product. Forget about product. Product is the stereotype, right? I
Yes.
gotta tell you this. What's really, really beautiful as a team. So tech, ops, marketing, these are functions that report to me.
Yeah.
Retail, product, and finance, they report to Vinita. Now
Yeah.
it is amazing. Whenever there's a new investor who comes and starts talking to us and send to us, so they end up talking to me, getting all the way. And in the end, I tell them, Acha, by the way, for the finance related question, I'm going to loop in Vinita because finance reports to her.
Yeah.
They bulb, okay? They blank out completely. They're like, what?
What do you mean? Finance?
Huh?
You're the one,
Yeah,
right?
it's.
You
I mean, I mean,
organize
it.
things. That's the stereotype. Right.
And because I know what the expression is going to be, it is extremely funny for me to say that yeah, these questions I can't answer. I can answer, but I can't answer well because this is her function.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, part of them is always also wondering, okay, what are we doing, wasting time? And then I'm like, hey, you asked for the meeting with me. There were two of us, there were two names on the email address. You said can you speak as this? So,
That's right. You
but it's
assumed. You didn't ask who handles
but
finance.
Sangeeta, you've seen this in other spheres of life as well. I mean, there have been meetings where we have gone and throughout the investor discussion, the conversation has been very unidirectional with me. It's irritating, yes, but I think we are better as a society today than what we were a decade back, which tells me that hopefully a decade from now we're going to get even better. But
Yeah.
it is there. I mean, as of now, what can we do about it? I think throughout the company we push a culture of giving credit where it's due. I mean, there is absolutely no credit. There is enough people hogging credit in the world, right? So, in the
Yes.
company, at least wherever we can promote a culture where due credit is given, I think we push that very aggressively. And I think everybody, at least the folks in our team, they really swear by it. They say, yeah, this is what's fair. I mean, good work deserves to be noticed,
Yeah.
irrespective of where it's coming from.
Right. Yeah. And also a lot of this, it is questioning our own biases, right? Like you're eating dinner and the waiter comes and gives you the check, like assumes that you're going to. Yeah, it's really small, but of course
I,
that
Sangeeta,
translates all
you,
the way up to investors,
I have to
right?
tell you a story. I have to tell you a story. It is a standing joke. Every time we walk, you enter, if you enter Mumbai airport and you walk towards security check-in, there are after security check-in, if you walk towards the gates, there are these credit card kiosks that are there. There'll be all those, everybody, all the usual, access whatever. And the promoters over there whose job it is to pitch and get more sign-ups,
Right.
it's been happening for 5 years right now that we will see that we are walking the direction and Vinita will look at me with a very, she's like, she won't say anything, but she'll be like, I'm telling you, it's going to happen again. And I'll be like, Arey, yeah. And so basically we walk. I am further away from the promoter, okay? And
Yeah.
he or she is going to bypass her, come to me and ask,
Yeah.
sir, do you want a credit card? Oh my God.
Oh
and,
God.
and,
And
and
then
now
you
it's happened so
ask.
many times. I respond with telling her, I'm sorry, she controls all my financial decisions. Can you please ask her? Oh my God, this is yeah, but it's true. It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
profiling is real. Profiling is real.
Yeah. Yeah. And that must be annoying for you, but also her, right? At the receiving end of
Yeah,
all of
I,
this.
I don't even want to talk about how annoying it is for me because I can't even imagine how annoying it is for her. I mean,
Right.
I mean, but having been in the retail industry now, and we interview a lot of folks, right? And I know that in the industry, you're asked to profile that, check what maybe whether if she has a child, whether what shoes she's wearing, what bag she's carrying, pitch this product to her. I was okay, fine. I mean, we have not reached that level of I don't want to call it detail or sophistication because I don't condone it, but it's I don't know. I think that's how
Yeah,
traditional thinking has been.
it has been. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk to us about everyday fatherhood, your roles. How do I guess both of you have, big careers and you have two very little children. Talk to us about the everyday of how this parenting works for you guys. Fatherhood, parenthood.
So I think something that's worked for a business also has so far 9 out of 10 times worked at home as well, which is that we before we end up having a fight, we try to list responsibilities and divide who's responsible for what. So even for business, when we started, I remember we were taking a flight back and we said, you know what, we are so passionate about work, we will always have an opinion on every aspect of work. So we will always end up, probably butting heads and fighting unless we know that, okay, it is okay to have an opinion on every part of the business, but the final call responsibility has to be with one person. And that is the day. This is like 9 years back, wherein we actually, I think Indigo or something offline in a safety, napkin, we wrote that, okay, brew a line, okay, marketing me product there. And also I have an opinion on product, but I don't have a veto on product. She may
Right.
have an opinion on marketing, but she doesn't have a veto on marketing. So that's how weirdly that has stood the test of time. So personally, it's actually similar because we are very we work well as a team, but we are actually very different people because she's more of a morning person. I detest waking up in the morning, and I'm a very very late 1 a.m., 1:32 a.m. type of person. So that helps us. I'll give you an example now. I mean, the elder child, Ranveer. So his school starts at 8:15, and before that he needs to be fed, get ready, and all that. So we talked about it wherein she takes the morning shift, whereas to do the morning shift, she Ranveer has to crash by 10 o'clock. But
Yes.
our younger child, who's 3 years old and full of energy, is in no mood to sleep. So now then my shifts, right? Nighttime is when I read stories to him and play all sorts of big games with him. So I think we don't have any aspirations of so it's different. See, for work, we want to build the biggest beauty brand out there. For parents, we don't aspire to be the world's best parents. I
Yeah.
think it's because parenthood is not a competition. It's not measurable.
Yeah.
As long as I think we are safe, we are happy, and we are there for each other, that's all we want. And for that, we completely divide roles. Pre-pandemic, when it was a matter of taking maybe Ranveer out to his games over there, I would do that. At the same time, something else, maybe there's a art class, which maybe Vinita might go there. We used to divide and rule. Of course, not all the time. We used to get in each other's hair sometimes, but that is mostly when somebody slacked, for example, which is
Yeah.
also normal. Everybody does, but we
Right.
talk about it and then get back.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I suppose fatherhood's very different than running, like you said, running a business because there is no like it's not like monthly targets. Did we hit it? I don't know. I mean, parenthood in general, right? Like and then sometimes it's like you do this, and then I hate you, and it's like, oh wait, is this actual feedback or is it just them saying it, right? Like, I guess it's more of a long term game or whatever. Yeah.
I I am discovering. I mean, I have two kids, one 6, one 3 year old. I am still discovering fatherhood because I think it's a lifelong journey. But so far, I think fatherhood is seems to be a constant battle of trying not to be a hypocrite. And I'm telling you why I'm wording it this way. I'm telling you why I'm wording it because when I'm say having cola, my kid is going to come and say, "I want that." Or when my kid knows what is daddy's beer, which
Yeah.
is very, very bad on my part. I mean, why should he? Why should a 5, 6 year old know what is daddy's beer? But he knows, and he knows that he can't have it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then there are some things which I know I did when I was a child to my dad, but now I'm scolding this kid for not doing doing that. I mean, you need to gargle before you brush. I don't gargle before I brush, but I'm telling
Oh
him.
my
I mean,
God,
so
tell me
that
about
so
it. I
that
don't brush twice a day, and it's catch
yeah,
up?
yeah.
Must you tell
So
them to brush twice a day? Oh my God.
like so it's like for them, they're like, Ranvi, you got to change before you go to sleep. Come, change, come here right now. Okay, and I am going to sleep without changing in my shorts. Okay, so I mean, I think at some level they see that, okay, my dad is not walking the talk. So which I have become more aware of, and I try not to have a very open contradiction or I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I phased out. I'm back now. Okay. Am I audible? Am I
Yes.
back now?
Yes. Yes. You're back. Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying that I'm very acutely aware of the fact that maybe in 5 more years, I'm not going to be as close to Ranveer as I am right now, because as you start approaching the teens, your circles change. It's probably not cool to hang out with your parents. I mean, we went through the same phase. So I have what, 4 more years, right? So I have to at least be consistently consistent and not a very hypocritical so that to build some relationship. Because if I look at my example, I think life, the relationship with your parents goes through a circle. You're
Yeah.
very close, and then for a while you are very, very not close, because it is not
Yes.
cool to be very close to your parents. And
Yes.
hopefully, you take a 20-year bet and say sometime, like I
Yeah.
did, they are going to get back and start valuing family the way it is, and make up for all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do we have time for one more question?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely, go
So
for it.
I know that you're building sugar, the brand sugar, but also as you're doing that, you guys are also building your personal brand, I think, and that
Hmm.
it's a very relatable thing to see CEOs and COOs be so accessible and real, I suppose, right? Like, and you guys are on, you're featured on magazines, just out there on the media, and there is a very sort of relatable vibe about you guys, right? Like people feel like they know you. Talk to us a bit about, was it organic? How did that? I think the brand sugar as a brand, but also you both your individual personal brands really kind of add to it,
It
doesn't it? Tell us a bit more about that.
So, firstly, I want to tell you, nobody has asked us this question till date.
Okay.
Partly because most people don't go beyond the first level, and also probably because it's very recent. Till 12 months back, both of us were very inactive on all social media platforms. I
Yeah,
think
I
one
am
thing that
noticing
the
that. Yeah, I can
yes,
notice the
yeah,
shift. Yeah.
So it is very, very noticeable that after the lockdown started and we literally were boxed like everybody else inside our own houses, we communicated less with the other outside world. We shared less of our thoughts. We got less of our reactions. So part of that at least led me to start sharing on some platforms. Now, what happened was after 5, 6 months of doing that, I remember our colleagues, who help us with PR, who said that, what, I think this is getting picking up traction. What do we do? Do we get a team to start, creating content for you?
Yeah.
Then maybe, ghostwriting stuff. I remember Vinita took a step back and was like, no. This is not this is not what I'm doing on social media. I'm posting so that I can share my moments with my kids or my running. So you know, if some a day comes wherein I feel that okay, it has to be treated as a business channel, we'll talk about it. But we are nowhere close to that. That's why I know a lot of people. You champion a cause, right? Like Sangeeta, you
Yes.
champion so many causes which are close to your
Yes.
heart. So for us, I think the causes we champion are like I literally have three topics I speak about. It is either work, business, or family or fitness. One of these three. Otherwise, because I don't feel that passionately about anything other than business and family. Fitness, I have to get back to. But at least I have enough photos to from the past to use if I want to talk about it. But that's it. I think there is a lot of I don't get this. There are a lot of awards and publications which you keep pushing, but
Yeah.
how much can you push and say, humbled to win this, very
Yeah.
grateful to do this?
Yeah.
Everybody knows, recognizes a humble brag from a mile away, right? So I think what makes more, what makes more sense is to just, share what excites you, right? I really, really share, so, today I shared a story about my sister and her
I read
experience of
that.
how she got through business school. So
Right.
somebody, in all the comments that came in, somebody commented saying that you've grown up with many inspirational women around you, and I mean that is so true. That is so true. I mean, I mean, inspiration can hit men from everywhere. I'm
Yes.
super fortunate to have folks in my family, even now and earlier, who there's so much to learn from. So I think that's the only way to be authentic, right? Because you
Yeah,
can't
no,
one
and
day.
that comes out, right? Like, and you know, coincidentally, it also, you know, goes with you, uh, building a brand that is female centric, and so
I
it just organically sort of makes sense, right? When you read stories about not just women in your life, but just your thoughts and things, not from a perspective of this is me, but just like really more authentic. I feel like it's probably contributing to making your brand also be more authentic by in a
hope so. Hope so. I
exciting,
mean, as long
family
as
friendly way. Yeah.
I mean, I've been advised both ways that, if you're very accessible, then you can be targeted, trolled. I'm like, what is this paranoid behavior, targeting, trolling? I mean, if I do something troll worthy or target worthy, by all means, I should be held accountable. I mean, like I would hold somebody else accountable. So I think there's too much thought put into what face of mine do I put ahead? I mean, I think personally, I want to reserve that for the brand. For brands, there is a team that works on copy, content, banner, placement. I can't worry about all that for personally for each and every one of us, right?
Oh
So I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
I think the conversation like this, wherein we are just being our authentic selves, uh,
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, this is what stays. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody's saying that you're sounding like Mr. Sameer Modi 10 years back. They're also saying to be
Oh,
brutally honest.
oh, oh! I just read that Mr. Samir Modi is the founder, chairman, CEO of Calabar, which is one of the brands which we've learned so much from. I mean, they've been in the market for such a long while, created such great products. So very inspiring for us to learn from them. I did not know that
Yeah.
that I sound like him, but okay. Hi, there's something else coming up. Wait, how to convince folks who are way much successful academy they need to join you? Oh my God, such a great question. So I think I think let's take a step back. Why do we think it's a challenge? Because we are attaching our self-worth to our resume, right? And our
Okay.
academics and saying
The
the pedigree,
pedigree.
right? I think that means thoda to it's in the mind, right? Because we see that acha, I am not from a suppose I say that I am not from Harvard. How do I recruit somebody from a Harvard? मतलब ये तो सोच में problem है ना. I mean, imagine you not thinking about it and saying that forget approaching the person, because if you approach a person, okay, if you approach a person from a pedestal and say I am want to work with you, I want you to work with me because either I am older than you, or I have a better degree with you, or I'm richer, faster, stronger, whatever it is than you. I think I'm also guilty of that at times, but I think we should, if you take a separate dimension to it and say that, hey, I'm here to just tell you what I'm building, right? A, B, C, D, F, G, H, this is what I'm building. I think you've done work in related spheres, and that's why I think we can work together. What questions do you have that I can tell you more about? And that, I think that sets a very equal footing to try and recruit someone, and that has worked for us. I think internally also, when we speak to candidates, it doesn't matter whether the person's older, younger than you. We always use a lot matters. The words matter. You don't. I mean, we never use that. Hey, I want you to work, say, for the company. I say work with the company, right? I mean,
Yes.
nobody told us tactically to use this word, but it's just the way we feel that if you're
Yes.
joining us, then I better have a lot to learn from you as well. It's not a one-way street wherein
Oh,
you'll learn from
yeah,
us. So
yeah.
I
And
think
we
that's
embody that as well, right? Like colleagues, hierarchy. But that hierarchy is so ingrained in our any culture. But also, we have so many stratifications and all
true,
that, and
true, 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 true.
and this whole there's a pedigree, right? Like this, the bid
Yeah, yeah,
scientist.
yeah,
There
of
is
course,
this,
of course. Oh my God,
elite
yes.
that, elite this.
True,
There
true,
is
true.
it is the pedigree, right? And I mean, sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, but I have to ask, how much did the pedigree help you guys secure funding and building the brand? Because you both have
So,
that pedigree, right?
so strangely, there's this stereotype of IIT IM, right? So
Yes.
bits. I mean, there's a very special set of people who appreciate bits, but otherwise, it's all the mainstream media is all IIT IM, right? So thankfully, Vinita brought the IIT tag to our business. But frankly, Sagita, I mean, look at this, right? We started the company in 2012. It took us 5 years to actually
Yeah.
raise our Series A. 5 years. no, I mean, I keep saying this. If you are saying that, "Arey yaar, mere paas IIT IIM nahi hai, so I can't raise funding." Hello, I am right here. We had an
Yeah.
IIT and IIM tag, and it took us 60 months to raise funding. So it is not that. Everybody has certain advantages and disadvantages. Like, if you want, what disadvantages did we have? A lot of businesses did not believe that a husband-wife pair could actually build a business. A lot of
Yes.
businesses were hesitant towards investing in a female CEO. I mean, I'm saying it because I know it's true. There are biases that some funds have.
Yes.
यार biases तो life में होंगे ना. I mean, people get biased that you're faster, stronger, higher.
Yeah.
I mean, you can live your life two ways. One is you either start thinking about what you don't have, or you start thinking about what you have. So I think somewhere along the journey, we
Yes.
switched and we said, okay, let's just see what we have, and let's try to make the most of it. And we're fortunate it worked. It may not have worked. I'm not sure. So
Yeah.
how to
Yeah.
make a business plan
Yeah.
for a
That's
startup in the new industry without having any knowledge in that industry? You know, I would just say, Sanjay, business plan is what stays on paper and Excel. Business is what actually puts money in the bank. Don't worry about business plan. When, you will have people who will make a business plan for you if you make a business first. So just take a step back and say, let me
exactly.
just forget about, let's make a business, right? Okay, I want to buy something for 5 rupees, sell something for 10 rupees, and get those 5 rupees into a bank account. That's, I
Yes.
would just, I would just,
Exactly. And I'm
yeah.
going to add I went to Harvard for an entrepreneurship boot camp because it was
Yes,
not
I
just
read that. Yes.
that, right? But what am I mean, so yeah, you have the business canvas planner and that and this, and before that, I worked with Accenture, and it's all about that strategy and having really fancy spreadsheets and shit like that, right? None of it has anything to do with where I'm currently at, because this is not how you build. And it took me like that whole B2C switching to like talking directly to people that are going to buy what you sell, right? And also, this is not like a product, right? This is like part passion and part like the service that comes as a result of
True,
that, right?
true,
Like
true, true,
mental
true.
health is something that I've always been passionate about. And look, like, okay, so this is 3-4 years after I relocated. And I remember when I relocated, I pinged you, I said, I'm doing this, and you were so supportive, enthusiastic, like,
I was very
oh,
excited. Yeah, I was very excited.
right? Like, I was like, and I don't know what I'm doing. And like you come in with like, oh, I'm going to change the world, da da da, right? Like, I went through this fight response where I was knocking on doors and that and this. Then it was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's too hard. You know what I did? The flight response, like, it was the default
Ha
thing.
ha
Like,
ha
I
ha ha.
worked with
True.
SaaS for so long that, I went to SaaS Movie. I think I reached out to you for a job. I reached out
Yes,
to other
yes, yes.
CEOs for a job. Thank God all of you said, no, go build your own, right? Like, I really needed that because it's like I was trying to run away from how hard it was. I was, right? And then I clearly remember, like, I reached out to a few of you, and all of you said, no, your
Yeah.
heart is in this. It is shit for now. Just build it. Like, no, you're not, don't worry about it, right? And this whole thing about, oh my God, will I ever get another job? Will I get paid? All that
Oh
stuff.
yes, that question. True.
And then I froze for a bit. I went into that freeze response for a bit. And then I was like, okay. Then I think also COVID has helped in terms of being,
Sure.
global and all of that. And so now I've not been active on LinkedIn. I probably need to be whatever, right? Like, but I think my personal experiences, I think, built from the heart for a period of time until you know what you're building and why, I guess. And then, you will, like Kaushik said, that there are people who can do the planning for you, right? Like, and I guess
So
it depends
I think
on
so.
what kind of entrepreneur you are. Like, some people start with a product and they're very passionate about it. Some people are passion, like cause thing. Some people are very like, I have this technology. I don't know. It depends on where you want to start. But I guess just jump in and do it first without
I think
kind of,
so.
that's something that was
Learning by
very hard
doing.
for me to do because I came from this overthinking. That's what I got paid for. So you think that, right? Like, completely in the head, has nothing to do with how you actually do it from the ground up. Had no experience, was stupid enough to think that I could.
It
Didn't
takes
think
a
of
little bit of
anything,
stupidity to get things started.
like quit after 2 kids and like, let's move countries, let's have 2 kids, let's just uproot everything and let's start a business. Like what was I thinking, kind of thing. But I don't know. It's been a tough 3-4 years, but the only way to do it is by jumping in, right? Like, I don't think any business school or any boot camp, whatever, can substitute just jumping in and doing it, right? Like I guess that's the only
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody is saying this post may be deleted later. Can you please save it? Yeah, we'll discuss that. You should do this live
Yeah.
more often. You two got such nice stories to share. Yes, that
Yeah.
would
Now
be.
that I hope this has gone out without any major bloopers. I think we should we can try. I'm gonna see learning by doing. See, now I know. I'm gonna learn and get better.
Oh, this was fun. I mean, from my perspective,
Thank
there
you.
were bloopers. So,
No, it was fun. Absolutely. I mean, it's a special day, and thanks for suggesting it in the first place.
thank
Loved
you.
it.
I love this too. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I'm so happy you did the first live here on World Doula.
Yes.
Uh, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody that's watching. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, we'll do more of this.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sangeeta. Thanks, everybody who joined.
Thanks, Kaushik.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.